G'day guys, Chaos Chronicles. Alright, today we're going to touch on the time I got stabbed in prison, and it was pretty crazy, so let's get into it. Alright, so for a bit of context, I have to kind of take you back to let you guys know what happened. So I was in a unit called Fishburn at the time, Fishburn East, and there was a lot of high profile prisoners in there at the time, and some guy was on the phone, and my mate was going through a murder trial at the time, and because he's a high profile prisoner, he has to get taken to court by SESG, which is like security, intense security, like it is for people that are really bad, the SESG. I'm not sure what exactly that means. I think it means state security emergency group or something like that, because these guys go all around the state. Anyway, they have to take certain people to prisoners, not on the bus. They take them in four-wheel drives because they're like gangsters or whatever. But anyway, he was going through a trial. They were getting him up at 4 a.m. to take him at 5, and then they would leave him sitting in the bus until 9 o'clock in the morning. So this guy's on the phone yelling at his girlfriend, and you can understand it's like first thing in the morning, 8 o'clock in the morning. It's the first day off his trial this guy's had. So you can understand why I was so angry. And I stuck my head out the door. I was still in bed, and I stuck my head out the door and I said, "Oi, bro, old mate's going through his murder trial. He's got a day off. Just be quiet." He's like, yeah, bro. I go into my cell. I lay back down. I didn't even get to put my head on the pillow, and this guy's like screaming. And when I went screaming, I mean degrading his girlfriend like a lot of people do in jail on the phone, and accusing her of all this stuff that she probably wasn't doing. But anyway, I ended up having to tell this guy 3 times, and then the last time I said, I really yelled at him. I said, "Bro, what the fuck? You told me that you were going to shut up." And he turned around and he goes, "Fuck you, you rat. You've been trying to pick a fight with me all week," which is not true, but I had to go at him a couple of times that week. Now, let's put into context. This guy's 6'6" and probably weighs 160 kilos, a big boy, and he just started running at me. And that didn't end well for him. Just so I don't go right into that, let's just say I seen an officer who's not a screw anymore. She's actually with one of my mates. But she said to me, on the only time she's ever had to press that button was when she heard that guy call me a rat, and what I did to that guy, And so obviously I got put in the slot, and because it was pretty serious, the guy nearly lost his life. After I was in the slot, got put into a management unit, which is at Port Phillip. If you do a long time in the slot, like segregation, they're going to put you in a management unit before they put you back out there. And, because you've been in there for so long, it drives people crazy. And it's generally just what Port Phillip do. They generally, if you've done a long time in the slot, like maybe over 3 months, they will put you in a management unit. But anyway, I got cleared to go back out the back. And so, I went back out the back, and this is when this was the same year that smoking got banned. And so I told you that I had a bupe addiction in jail, and so I hadn't had any for 3 months. Obviously, I wasn't feeling the pain 3 months later, but I still wanted to get some. And so I used to steal. At Port Phillip, they've got these run sheet things that you need. Every single pod has got their own colour. And so I used to steal them, and that way I used to be able to go around the jail wherever I wanted. The screws used to spin out. I used to get caught all the time. They'd be like, "How are you over here?" Anyway, I went over and seen my mate, and I borrowed 4 pouches because I was going to buy myself one whole strip of Suboxone, which is a strip like a Listerine strip, exactly the same size of Suboxone. You got enough to get stoned yourself, and then sell some and make some money. So anyway, I went and got the 4 pouches, I went and then when I got back, I went up the gym, went and seen my mate, and I bought a full boob strip, right? And so anyway, I went back to the unit, and the unit was Scarborough South at the time. So if you know, you know. And so like, I was definitely one of 6 Aussies in that unit at the time, and it was full of Lebanese and the Islanders, and then we also had a certain bike club in there at the time. And so anyway, I was just going around shouting people, and next thing you know, this guy comes in from the Lebanese group, and we're actually, I'd been in my mate's cell, and we just walked outside, and like I seen him walk into my mate's cell, but we just kept walking outside, and then this guy came outside like being real tough, like a hero, and there's a lot of people around, he's trying to put me on show. He's saying, mate, that strip that you bought was mine, you need to give it to me. And I was like, what are you talking about, mate? And he goes, well, that was supposed to come to me, I'll pay for it. And I go, well, so did I, mate. Go take it up with the dude you bought it off, not me, mate. And he's like, no, you got to give it back. And I said, mate, I'm not giving it back. And he's like, all right then. And so at the time, he actually had like 4 or 5 Lebos with him, and he was trying to put the heavy on me. And I just said, listen, mate, if you're trying to fight me, let's go in my cell right now. You don't need to come at me with 6 people, mate. Like, let's go into my cell right now. And he didn't. And I knew I had him straight away. Like, I knew I had him covered because he didn't want to come in there. And he made himself look like a dickhead in front of his mates anyway. And so that day, I went and seen my mate. I said, look, I need you to give me a shank. I said, because I think the Lebos are going to jump me. And so anyway, I got a shank. And that day passed and nothing had happened. But what actually happened, and like before that day had passed, I was walking across the unit, and he was walking right towards me, and I thought he was going to have a crack in the middle of the unit, and he was just walking past me, and I said, come on, bro, let's go in my cell now. No need to be a hero in front of your mates. Let's go. He's like, no, bro, no. He's trying to tell me he didn't want to fight me, But like, I knew that something was going to go down. And one of the other younger Lebos said, oi, bro, like, I think, old mate's going to try and drag you into the 3 out. So the 3 out is like predominantly, like everyone calls it, the boxing ring, the octagon, whatever you want to call it. So it's a cell that's got three beds in it instead of 1 or 2. And they are huge. They are big, and everyone calls it the boxing ring. And he goes, look, I think they're going to try and get you in there. I said, all right, sweet. So anyway, I'm there playing 41. If you know, guys. It's a very popular jail game, 41. I believe it's got another name outside. I'm not sure. If someone knows in the comments, can you please let me know what the actual name is outside? It's like Bridge or something like that, maybe. I don't know. But anyhow, I'm sitting there playing cards, and I've got my shank sticky taped under the table in front of me. And the screws give you sticky tape at the screws desk. And anyway, I literally had it sticky taped right in front of me under the desk there. No one seen me put it there. And I'm looking at my mate, my partner. So you have a partner when you're playing this game. So it's 2 people, and then you play against 2 people. So it's 4 people. And Port Phillip has these tables that are like, they're not bolted to the ground, but they're big, heavy, and the chairs are stuck there. So, like, they got 5 seats on them. But anyway, so he said, oi, mate, be careful. Old mate's coming up behind you. And I said, yeah, sweet. And I said, look, if he gets a swinging at me, just give me... And he goes, yeah, sweet. And so I'm sitting there expecting this guy to try and attack me in the middle of the unit, which you probably shouldn't do, And, like, I thought that's what he was going to do. And either way, I should have had my shank on me. And keep in mind, guys, when I tell you these stories, I'm not glorifying you. I'm just telling you how crazy jail is, and I have to be brutally honest about it. And that's just how I was living my life. So I'm not glorifying it. Don't copy what I do. You will just end up hurt or killed or in jail. So anyway, I'm looking at my mate, and this guy comes up to me, and like I thought he was going to try and fight me there, and so because he talked to me, I didn't like at first I had my hand on that in case he had one. Like I'm playing cards, and every 2 seconds I'm like pulling little bits of tape off so I can get it when I need it. And he goes, "Yeah, come in the 3 out, mate." I said, "Yeah, sweet." I go, "Yeah, I'll be in there in a sec, right?" And then so he knew what I was gonna do when I said I'll be there in a sec. And he's like, "Nah, come now, bro." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm coming, bro. I'm coming." And like he wouldn't leave. And I turn around, the 3 out was behind me, and there's a big group of people there, right? And I thought, oh well, here we go. So anyway, my mate was an Islander. It's actually my best mate at the time. And so anyway, he said, "Bro, do you want me to come in there with you?" And I said, no. I didn't want to make it a race war. It was the Lebos. I didn't want to make it a race war, basically. That I can't put it any simpler. I didn't want to make it something that it wasn't. And so basically, I said, "All right, let's go then." And because like he waited there, I didn't have a chance to grab my shank. And had he seen me grab that, it would have been worse for me, you know what I mean? And so I thought, all right, I'm just going to take my chances. And in my head at the time, I'm not even lying to you, like I knew there was going to be 5 or 6 people in there, but in my head at the time, I'm like, yeah, I've got this covered. And it's just crazy stupid even thinking like that. And so anyway, when I'm walking in the cell door, right, there's the Asians with like the crazy mofo Asians, you know, if you know, you know. And so the leader of the Asians, also, if you know, you know, is a little short guy who is crazy, right? I'm good mates with him, yeah. And they didn't tell him that it was me that they were going to get, right? And so, like, they've invited the Asians to come along for the bashing as well. And they agreed. But then when he seen it was me, he's like, "What the fuck?" And like, he's like, "Bro, what? Don't go in there." And like, but he talked like an Asian, you know? And like, he goes, "Bro, don't go in there. You're fucking stupid, bro." And I'm like, I got to go in there, brother. And like, he was on the door. So he was holding the door. He was the dude that was going to lock the door behind me, right? So what I did absolutely amazed him. I grabbed the door off him. I walked into the cell. I noticed that there was like 10 people in there. I was like, oh my God, here we go. I closed the door behind me and I locked it. Click, right? That spun everyone out. That I locked the door myself. That let them know that I'm there to get on with it. Let's go. And so anyway, the dude that came up to me earlier on in the day before, he's standing there and he is lipping off. He's like, "I fucking told you, you don't want to mess with the Muslims, this and that." And he brought the religion into it. And like, he was just going on about that. And I just went, bop, bop, just gave him 2 swift ones and dropped him. And there was a guy standing right beside him. And then there was like a wall of guys kind of behind them, right? And I just knew, I just knew I had to just keep going. And I just went, pop, hit the other guy, which was being a more loud mouth than the other one. And he dropped as well. So the first guy was knocked out. The second guy wasn't. But basically, as soon as I hit that second guy, I just got king hit, whack, from the side by like 3 different people. Now, I remember at the time saying to myself, don't go to the ground, you're going to get stabbed, you know? So it's taking every single part of me fighting for my life not to go to the ground. I've got people trying to pull me onto the ground. I've got people trying to pull me onto... So in the 3 out, you've got 1 bunk, so a bed on the ground and then a bunk above it. And then across the way, you've got another bed on the ground. So they're trying to push me underneath the top bunk. And at this stage, I couldn't see any shanks. So like I was thinking, oh, sweet. And so I'm still fighting for my life here, right? And like it's taking every single one of them to get me onto this bed. And so basically, because I was fighting so hard, I literally had like 2 or 3 people on each arm and same on my legs, and they're pinning me on the bed, right? And so in my head, I'm thinking, this guy's just going to jump on me and pummel me, you know? Oh, yeah, this guy jumped on me, all right, but he didn't punch me. He pulled out this shank, right, it was a shank that was made off the fence. And if you guys know, they're like, how can I explain it? They're probably a little bit skinnier than a pencil, right? Maybe 3/4 of a pencil thick, you know? Maybe, you know, a bit thicker than like a thick cord, you know? They're solid. You're not going to bend it. And so he had that in his hand, right? And so he's jumped on my stomach. And so he's kind of like leaning over me at the start, and he's saying, I told you, rah, rah, rah. And like, this is the guy that I knocked out at the start, right? And so like in this time, I'm fighting all his mates, trying to not go to the ground. The other guys are trying to wake this guy up, right? And so like, he was obviously the guy holding the shank. And so anyway, yeah, he's got up and he jumped on me, and yeah, the look in his eye, I could see that he was serious, you know. And so anyway, he said, I told you, went whop, one down there, like down the bottom of my abdomen. And then he goes, that I was going to stab you. And he didn't tell me he was going to stab me, so I don't know why he said that. He went whop, drove the second one into me, which went in here just under my rib cage. Those two were superficial, which didn't go too far in. The next two are the ones that were dangerous, because they went right in here, right above, like right there. It was right there, right? So he was going for the heart, and he just went whop. And the last one, I didn't even hear what he said. I felt it go in. I felt it come out. And then, yeah, like, I think he went bop, bop and gave me 2 punches like I gave him. And at this stage, like, I had like one of my arms, and I ended up like blocking the punch off, and it didn't really get me. But like, I'm busted up too. Like, I'm busted up from them smashing my head in, trying to get me to the ground. Like, I'm busted, you know what I mean? Like, my face is out here like this. They actually fractured my cheekbone. And I didn't realise that until after I got out of jail, because you'll see why in a moment. But yeah, basically after that, they went woof and like pulled me to my feet, and then like the leaders of the Lebos said, "Why did you come in here, mate? Like, why did you come in here? That was just stupid. You knew what was going to happen." Like, he's like, "Did you think that you were going to win?" And I looked at him and said, like, I was grinning, you know, like I did think that. And then the leader, I actually got along with well, but like, I suppose I wasn't one of them. And when the other guy said, I want to take him out, they had to go with their crew. Do you know what I mean? And then so the other guy who stabbed me has been taken out. They said, go get rid of the shank. I'm busted. Like, they actually hit me in the nose that hard that it split me there. And so I got blood coming out of me as well. And like, he didn't think that any of the stabs got me, and I went like this and ripped my t-shirt off. And it was like that scene in Chopper. Like, my whole stomach was just full of like dark claret blood, you know, and was absolutely like just everywhere. And so anyway, I went over to the sink and I started cleaning up my face, and they're looking at me and they're like, "Are you all right?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm fine." And like, they're like, "You've just been stabbed." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine." And they're like, "You just got stabbed 4 times, mate." And I'm like, "I'm fine." And so like, I'm washing all the blood off me because I'm downstairs and my cell is upstairs, and they just called 5 minutes to muster, right? So this is the hardest bit. I now need to line up on muster and not let them see my face. Otherwise, if they see me like that, they're going to grab me, and then they're going to put me in the slot for fighting. And then it just makes things hard, you know. And so anyway, they're helping me clean myself up. And at the time, they're going, bro, you're crazy. Like, why would you even come in here like that? And I just said, listen, you asked me to come in here, and I fucking came in here, yeah? I said, I'm not going to back down from no one. And I don't care if there's one of you or 10 of you. I'm not going to have yous walking around the yard tomorrow saying Biff didn't come into the cell. What a pansy. Do you know what I mean? I said, yous invited me in the cell, and I came. I came and I locked the door behind me, and I'm here talking to you right now. And keep in mind, I got jumped by nearly 10 guys, right? And so I'm standing talking to them. So they didn't really do a good job. If that was 10 of my crew in there, that he wouldn't have been standing there talking to me at the end. And so anyway, I walked back up to my cell. I had a new cellmate that was from Queensland, and what's really, really funny is he's actually like lives right near my sister in Queensland. He actually met my sister afterwards, and they found out that I was, anyway, he was an older guy, and I walked in there, and because someone gave me another shirt to put on or a jumper or something, and as soon as I walked in there, I must have had like 1 minute to go. I ripped it off, and I didn't want to be looking in the mirror at myself where I got stabbed when I was in that room. I thought I was going to get attacked again. So anyway, I ripped whatever I was off wearing, and I took it off, and I looked in the mirror, and I was like, holy shit. And like, so I'm wiping the blood off, and I'm assessing all the stab wounds, and so like I'm trying to, just from, as you guys know, I told you I've been stabbed 7 times. Just from previous experience, I'm trying to put my finger in the hole to see how deep they are. And these ones down here passed the test, but these ones here didn't. So they were deep, and it hurt. My cellmates like went to press the buzzer straight away, and I had to run over there and smack his hand out of the way. I said, listen, bro. And like at the time, like it was just a full-on unit, yeah? Like I can't even explain to you. It was just like, it's a gang unit, right? And I'm like, bro, if you touch that buzzer and buzz up on me and tell them that I've been stabbed, I said, before they come running here, you aren't going to make it that long, mate. I swear I will hurt you. Do not call medical. So, you know, this is a big thing that happens in jail, and people die from it because they get stabbed and they don't tell medical because they don't want to get seen as weak or a snitch or this or that. You tell medical that you've been stabbed, they're going to turn the unit upside down. And so I go, mate, don't do it. And he said, mate, you've been stabbed in the heart. You need to go. And I'm not going to lie, like it was hurting, like, and my anxieties were starting to kick in, like what if that did go through my heart? And so anyway, I didn't go to medical, and the next day, so a lot of them people were trying to get me out of that unit, trying to get me to bail, you know what I mean? And I was like, hey, it's not happening. The only way am leaving this unit is if my toes are facing the roof. I said, otherwise, it's not going to happen. You are going to have to kill me to get me out of here. And so, like the head, there's like 2 brothers, like he walked up to me and he's like, bro, he goes, put his hand out and like to do the bro handshake, you know? And he goes, you know what, bro? He goes, you're sweet, mate. He goes, no one that we've ever got has ever like spoke to us like that and said that they're not going anywhere. Do you know what I mean? He goes, bro, you are staunch, mate. And what you did yesterday was crazy. Like, and, you know, keep in mind, I did take 2 of them out before I got taken out myself. And, you know, me standing up for myself and not leaving the unit when they told me, you know, just earned me that much respect off them. And I ended up mates with most of them except for the dude that stabbed me. And, you know, long story short, I just said to myself, I'm going to get them one by one. And so I got the one that stabbed me later on, but that's it, you know. And, yeah, it was pretty full on. But like what was crazy was like 2 weeks later. So 2 weeks later, it's like 3:00 in the morning, and me and my cellie are obviously asleep, and bang, the door comes roaring open. It's security. It's the TOG, And they're like, get up, Leif, get up, get up, get up. And they're telling me to get up. And I'm like, all right, I'll get up. And the handcuffs are on. And I'm like, where am I fucking going? Where are you taking me at 3 o'clock in the morning? And so they take me out of the unit. They took me into the supervisor's office and they're like, righto, mate, strip. And I'm like, oh, all right. Like, why are you doing this? And they're like, we've just received intel that you've been stabbed, which means that someone dropped a kite in the screws note box saying Biff's been stabbed, right? This was 2 weeks later. 2 weeks later. And so, like, at this time, and because, like, ice picks are only skinny as, they're not big wounds. Like, you could just see these little dots, and they're like, what are they? And I said, because I told them, I haven't been stabbed. I don't know what you're talking about. They're like, what's that? Like, they're pimples, mate. They're bloody pimples. And so they believed it, and they walked me back up to the cell. And I remember as soon as that cell door closed, my celly's on the top bunk, and he's wide awake. I'm like, bro, what did I tell you? And he's like, it wasn't me. He's like, I swear to God it wasn't me. And I had to believe him, and that was that. But it was a pretty crazy time. That time in between when I got stabbed and, like, just sitting there wondering, am I going to die at any moment? When it got to, like, a 3-day mark and I wasn't dying, I was like, no, I'm sweet. So, it spun everybody out. Everybody knew that happened, and everyone was like, bro, why would you even go in there? And I was like I told everyone else, if I get invited into a room, if someone offers me out, mate, whether it be a sword fight, a fist fight, whatever, I am going. And that's just that. Win, lose, or draw, I will always have a crack. And that's what I thought in my head at the time. But I'm not lying. In my head at the time, I honestly thought that I was going to walk out of that all right. And I'm not going to lie. Also, that was a big, big, big smack to my ego. And it really knocked me down a peg because, in a way, I kind of needed that too because, like, without saying so much, like, I haven't really... And it's hard to say this without kind of sounding like you're glorifying it or trying to, like, pump your own tires up. But I'd never really lost a fight before that. So that was new to me. And my ego took a big punch for that, and it really knocked me down a couple of pegs, which I needed. And people noticed it too, which was good. I kind of actually really did need it. So that's me being stabbed, guys, in jail. Like I said, the shank was probably that long. I think I was just lucky it didn't go through my heart. And, definitely. But, all right, guys, thank you so much. I've been Biff. You guys have been absolutely awesome. This is the Chaos Chronicles. Jump up there. Shoot me a subscribe. That would be absolutely awesome. Smash that bell so you never, ever miss any. And I will see you guys on the next video. Let's go.